brought a humidifier with me.
This is Lolly again. I am at the Darice booth right now, and I'm here with their representative, Keith. Thank you so much for doing this for us. I came by the booth and I saw that shrink plastic is making a comeback. Remember the old Shrinky Dinks? Well, they have a brand here, and I just was fascinated. So I thought we would see how this works and how to use it in our crafting projects. So what do you have there?
So it comes 6 sheets to a packet, and it is clear. It's totally clear. So what you have to do to this is you need to sand it to start off with.
Okay, so a block works really well.
A block with a fine sandpaper.
Okay.
And you just want to really sand it.
But lightly, right?
Not really lightly.
Oh, okay,
I mean,
really?
I'm really putting some pressure on
there,
it.
I see that scratch marks there.
So,
and only the side that you're going to put a color and an image on.
I'm going to do that next.
I mean, but you don't have to sand both sides. Just
just one side.
Just the image side.
Just one side, because what the sanding does, it's going to let the colored pencils adhere better.
Okay.
Because here, I'll show you real quick. If I don't sand it, this is what I get with colored pencil.
And I can't see a thing.
If I do sand it, this is what I'm going to get.
Now that's a rich color on there. Okay, great.
The other thing you got to remember too when you're doing this is you don't want to use dark colors.
Okay.
You want to stay with more of a light palette.
All right.
The reason behind that is if you go with a dark palette, it's good when it shrinks, it's going to even get darker.
Right, it's too dark.
Yes.
So the color you put is going to multiply on there as it shrinks and condenses. All that colors is going to shrink down into a smaller area. That makes sense. Okay.
So here's what we're going to do now is we're going to put our image on here. I use a microperm pen.
Okay.
It is a
microperm. Okay.
It's a permanent pen. So you want your shiny side down, your sanded side up. Just stick it over your image.
Okay.
And trace it out.
I can do that. I can handle it.
So once you have it traced out, then what you're going to do is you're going to just color it in.
We're also recommending that you actually measure the image of this, or he suggested cutting out the size of your ruler on a plain piece and then shrinking it so you know how much shrinkage you get. So if you want a finished piece that's 1 inch long, you know how big to make the original piece when you cut it out because of how much shrinkage you're going to get. And the pencils he's using are Color Blend by Spectrum Noir.
So I'm just coloring this in very quickly.
Yeah, you don't have to make it perfect on our sake. Just get it in there.
So then, the one thing that a lot of people forget is they forget to put a hole in this.
Yeah.
So you got to think where you're putting the hole. Are you putting it in the image or on top of the image? Because right now we're going to cut it out.
Yes.
So
because it shrinks, you're going to want to use a bigger hole punch than the hole you want, because the hole is going to shrink as well. Cool.
So I just do a rough cut, trim it up just a little.
Okay.
So there we have our cut image.
Our shroom.
I'm going to punch a hole, not that one. We want our hole to be rather large.
And we'll take a picture of that. Can you see how big that hole is on that?
So in the past, people have only done this like with toaster ovens and their real ovens. We're using a heat gun.
Right.
So this will get a little noisy here.
But it'll be really quick this way, and it won't smell up your house or take too long, and you won't have to use shrinking plastic on your cookie sheets.
Make sure you're keeping your fingers away from this.
So you're using tweezers to hold that down. Look at the curling on that. It looks like you're ruining it, but be patient, right?
That's right.
It looks like it's never going to straighten out again. Poor thing.
Let it go.
Let it go.
So then you get to a point like that.
So it starts to flatten out, and you finish the process by sandwiching it between two boards. And voila, it is flat. And you can see how much that is shrunk. Oh my goodness. And your coloring is kind of like really Art Nouveau. It's really cute.
So here you can put it right beside there and see.
Okay, there you go. Matching up the lines here. So there is the original image that he traced and the new image. So that is less than half the size of that. It looks like maybe, I don't know, like 2.5 times this size is what this originally was. Very cute, very thick. I'm trying to get on camera here.
Very hard.
See that? So that's why you want to punch your hole first, because you will not be able to punch that hole afterwards unless you have some really good tools. Thank you so much. I see, because he just kind of did his coloring as brush strokes, which is really kind of cool that comes out, but it did darken the color in there, and you can see on the white there, it really did darken his colors. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Keith, and that was really fun watching you cook that.